What is up, everybody? We're back with another one. This video is going to be a lot different than my normal videos. I'm going to do a point-by-point rebuttal to select John Oliver pieces. It's come to my attention that if I'm going to try to go toe-for-toe with an HBO-produced show, that I should probably take up my production quality a bit. So we're going to try to play with some different tools, use some different things, and see exactly what we can make this video about. This may be an epic failure. I don't know. Some of these pieces I wanted to tackle head-on, piece by piece, like make it one video per piece. But I wanted to find someone with some more leftist views than me, so that we could have a debate over it and throw some facts out there and different opinions. I have not been able to make that work due to scheduling conflicts between me and the individual that I had in mind. So, what we are going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Leroy, the leftist monkey. Now, Leroy and I are going to pull select pieces from different John Oliver specials and discuss them point by point. Now, if you do not know who John Oliver is, he's a hilariously funny person, very entertaining. He used to be a stand-up comic, got picked up by HBO every Sunday. He does what he calls Last Week Tonight. He comes at you with basically the biggest story of last week's news, in his opinion. Most of the time, it's by far the biggest story of last week's news. Sometimes he gets off on some stuff. But he breaks it down in a comedic way and an educational way. But his views are very leftist, very liberal, and very obvious. I mean, he doesn't try to hide it. He's got some videos where he's just outright attacked the rights. Again, he always does this in an entertaining way and an informative way. If you've never watched him, I suggest you watch him. I watch him religiously, and everyone knows I tend to lean towards the right. And if you had to nail me down, it'd be pretty hard to nail down. But as a general rule, I lean towards the right, which is what will hopefully make this video so entertaining and informative. So, without further ado, Leroy says hi. I say hi. We both thank you all for watching, and let's get into it. So, obviously, the first thing we're going to need, if we're going to do this right, is John Oliver. Hi, John. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks very much for having me.
Oh, anytime, my friend. Hopefully you can bring some comedy to my show, and we can bring some education to the people. And I even brought Leroy the leftist on so that you don't feel like I'm picking on you, because, I heard New York's running out of safe spaces. Now, if you're wondering why we're using this imagery, perhaps it's best if John Oliver tells you himself.
Finally tonight, a quick update regarding Danbury, Connecticut, dubbed America's Hat City by Meaningless Bygone Superlatives magazine. You may remember, a few months ago, we insulted the unassuming city of Danbury for no clear reason, and the citizens there responded magnificently, with multiple Danburyans insulting me in YouTube videos, and the mayor declaring that he would name their sewage plant the John Oliver Memorial Sewer Plant because it's full of shit just like me, all of which was excellent.
Yes, that is correct, y'all. This is an individual who cracks jokes at unassuming, unsuspecting cities for no apparent reason, even to himself, and then thinks it's excellent when that town rebuttals in a hostile manner. The reason for this is the more people that talk, the more people that watch, and the more he can get his message out. Also, I think he has some sick admiration, as do I, for anybody with any kind of comedic ability. So if you're going to talk crap, it's fine. It just better be funny. Now, the rest of the story that I'm not going to include his video clip on, partly for the time length of mine and partly because I don't have any idea how HBO is with their copyright claims, is that the mayor came forward saying that it was a joke. John Oliver gave them like 2 weeks to say that it wasn't a joke and go ahead and do the Memorial Sewer Plant, in which case he would donate like $50,000 to local food banks in their area, and I believe there were some other charities as well. At which point they did, so long as he came in person to the dedication, which is the imagery that I have up. He often tries to raise money for charity or donate money to charity in any kind of tongue-in-cheek, funny way that he can, that either gets his message out or, in this case, gets the sewer plant named after him. he's one of the few media personalities that truly does believe in what he's saying and stands behind it. And for that, you have to give him credit, whether you agree or disagree with his views. He's most recently been making headlines for inventing a fake sex blanket. Yes, you heard me correct. This is a blanket that does some kind of electromagnetic, I don't know, this is supposed to heal women parts. He did this to illustrate how hazardous paid infomercials and paid content are when they air immediately before, after, or during the news, particularly when they have news experts doing the interviews for the infomercials or the paid content. He got at least three news stations or news networks to broadcast it, no doubt. Cost him I don't know, somewhere between like $4,500 and $6,000. I'm not looking at the actual numbers right now. It was approximately $2,000 a broadcast, which is disturbing. This is true.
Michelle.
Okay, now I had to cut it out for copyright issues, but at this point in his show, he continues playing this lady who is hawking some very, very bad products on TV infomercials. Goes on to show a few more examples. Some are making medical claims. One's being interviewed by the medical expert of that network and does absolutely nothing to question just some outrageous claims. And this is more or less the point of his video clip.
While there is no way of knowing exactly how many people are watching these shows as they air, that's not really the point, as this marketing executive at Nexstar explained to potential advertisers.
Now here's the deal. Most people think, okay, so I go on the TV show. I'm on TV, great, this is awesome. It airs at 4 o'clock, I go on, and great, and people see me. Okay, so this is cool. I'm gonna tell you right now, when you actually go on and do that, that isn't even the cake. That's just the icing. You know what the cake is? The video file. At the end, you're going to have a 4 or 5 minute video file. And you're going to do what with it? Post it everywhere.
Now, obviously, this is a flawed system. You're going to trust your local networks. You're going to trust your news officials. So when news officials are hawking products that have no value whatsoever or hold up to none of their claims, this is a problem. So apparently, in his wisdom, his idea of how to find out what networks were super easy to get on, he created a fake product. Now let's hear him tell you about it.
It's far too easy to make a ridiculous product that makes outlandish claims and get it onto local TV. And the reason I know that is, we did. ABC4 Utah.
I am so excited to talk with Erica Hernandez with the Venus Veil, a revolutionary new product on the line. What exactly is it? I'm so intrigued.
I'm so glad you are intrigued. So this is the Venus Veil. It is the world's first sexual health blanket.
It's just an isolated example. There was no way another station was going to fall for this, right? Absolutely no way. Is there, KView Austin? Because you wouldn't have let us pay to directly follow your 10 p.m. local news this Thursday, would you? There's no way that happened.
It includes some pretty interesting technology.
Yes, it does. So the team behind the Veil was inspired by the field of magnetogenetics. But basically, your blood is full of iron, but it's dispersed in such a way that it isn't affected by normal magnets.
Surely, if you saw this blanket in person, in a studio, then you would know not to enthusiastically co-sign on the completely baseless claims being made right in front of you. You would protect your viewers from that happening. Wouldn't you, Denver's Mile High Living? Yeah, super easy. You could even argue way too easy. That cost just $2,800. This one cost $2,650, and this one only cost $1,750.
Now, due diligence does require me to say that I have recently seen a news article that at least 2 of these networks are conducting investigations to find out how this happened. And they are going to start better vetting their paid endorsements. My question is, if you've got networks, they're already doing things you don't approve of, is the answer really to give these networks more money? And there are people out there that would have called on these ads. What did you do with the people that wanted to buy your imaginary sex blanket, John?
That's not how you do it.
So that's John Oliver's stance on sponsored content. And for the most part, I agree with him. Not necessarily with his methods, but at least with his takeaway. Now we're going to move on to his stance on vaccines. And would it surprise you to know that a man who has been rabidly anti-abortion laws throughout the years, as I am as well, to be fair, his stance has always been, why should perfect stranger have the right to tell you what to do with your body? It should be your choice. But yet, he seems to have a very different stance when it comes to vaccines.
The bad news is some vaccination locations have already gone from having not enough supply to not enough demand. It's true. A worrying amount of people are holding off on getting the free COVID vaccine. For the coronavirus, the herd immunity threshold is thought to be between 70 and 90% of the population. Thinking, well, hold on, if every...
Thought by who, John? The CDC, the same CDC that said you shouldn't wear masks, you don't need masks, don't hoard masks. Oh, wait, now you got to wear masks. Oh, now everybody needs masks. Oh, let's flatten the curve. Let's flatten the curve. Let's lock everybody down. They didn't stop anything. They paused it at best, which to a degree was necessary. It gave medical personnel a chance to get the equipment they needed, and I won't question that, but I will question the legality of any government that forcibly locks down its people. Wait, hold on. They're yelling for me. Give me a second. Wait, what? What? What do you... Yeah, I know, but it doesn't... No, that's not how that... All right, y'all. So Leroy, the leftist, he says, but the government had to enforce lockdowns because people were dying. Yes, that's true, and that's horrible, but the government doesn't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The government can't infringe on that. Yeah, I get it. People were scared. They wanted to feel safe. I know. That's how that works. But Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up essential liberties for temporary safety and security deserve neither liberty or security. But people get scared and they willingly give up their rights. And of course the government takes them because that's what the government does. No, they don't. Have you ever read the Homeland Security Act? No, we'll do a different video on that. You're confusing my audience. The point is the government, they can't just tell people they have to close their businesses and close their homes. That's not how that works. But yeah, I know. Look, so people would still go out even if they knew they were sick, and they would get other people sick because that's just kind of what society as general has come to. And that's horrible because you should always be worried about other people, and you should always do what you can to help and protect other people. And that's the part that this country's lost. Yeah, I get it, okay? But if I have HIV and I go out and willingly transmit HIV to a whole bunch of people without telling them, I'll be held criminally responsible. And maybe they should have figured out a way to do that. No, it wasn't a quarantine. It was a lockdown. No, you quarantine the sick. You don't quarantine the healthy. That's a lockdown. Yes, look, we're not getting into that. Told you, different video.
Maybe gets the vaccine, that still puts us at 78%. Unfortunately, that poll doesn't take into account children who we're not vaccinating right now and who make up around 22% of the population.
And if the vaccines are so safe and effective, why is it that we're not vaccinating children, John? Children are cesspools. They put literally everything in their mouth. The very fact that we're not vaccinating children should tell you how they really feel about these vaccines. No, wait. Now, here we go again. Look. No, you're not hearing it. I'm not saying that a vaccine is a bad thing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get the vaccine necessarily, depending on your circumstances. I'm saying there's not enough data to support whether this vaccine is a good or a bad thing. It hasn't been long enough. Most vaccines take up to 10 years to get on the market and get FDA approval. It's usually 2 to 4 years just in the exploratory stages before they ever even start human testing. And they got this on the market in like 14 months. They don't know what it's going to do. They don't know any long-term effects. They don't know if it even works. All indications are that it works, and all indications are that it's safe, but so far it's fairly limited indication data pool to pull from. I mean, once upon a time, they prescribed cigarettes for asthma patients. Did that make it a good thing? No. They thought it worked at the time. Yeah, look, I get it. People were dying and something had to be done. And the vaccine being available is a good thing. I mean, hell, I got the vaccine. What I'm saying is people should have the right to make their own informed intellectual decisions. Now, that's a lot being said in today's society. Most people don't like informed and most people don't like intellectual. They should do their research. And in some cases, they may have to wait until there's enough data to do accurate research. Don't look at me like that. It's not that serious. Well, it is that serious. What if I grow a tail tomorrow? Are you going to teach me how to climb a tree with my butt?
So we need to get the vaccine into as many adults as possible as soon as possible. And that means you really need to get vaccinated. So get the fucking vaccine, Mike!
Because that sounds like the plea of an informed, rational, calm individual, doesn't it? Truth be told, I chopped that out of a joke. It's not, he's not insane. He was making a joke. But it shows how if you cherry pick any bit of information to support what it is you're trying to say, it can be done. It can be done by the media. It can be done by the leftists. It can be done by the right. I mean, look at Alex Jones. It can be done by the government. If you take a snapshot of any one piece of information and you can take it in whatever context you want, you can make it say whatever you want.
I'd want to make sure that it's safe.
Wow. There is perhaps no clearer sign of just how deep vaccine hesitancy runs than someone in that guy's position still questioning whether to get it, instead of asking, is there such a thing as too much vaccine? Because if not, I'm going to keep going back for injections until I'm around 80% Pfizer.
When the vaccine was first made available to both of you, did you both jump at the chance to get it?
No, no. I mean, not me anyway. I am black first in this country, and that has with it a lot of baggage, to tell you the truth.
Exactly. Now, I don't think it's the case that they're using this to target African Americans. I don't. But if you look back at like the Tuskegee studies, it wouldn't be out of the norm for this government to do all kinds of things to our bodies without telling people in the name of science.
Fears and doubts about the vaccine have flown around conservative media, with one of the most prominent super spreaders being this fucking guy.
What about this vaccine? Why are Americans being discouraged from asking simple, straightforward questions about it? Questions like, how effective are these drugs? Are they safe?
Okay, I don't care how right you are. You always have to take anything Tucker Carlson says with a grain of salt, particularly when he starts asking questions. Because that's his pseudo-legal way of throwing shade at something he knows nothing about. Like, literally, Fox got sued because of stuff Tucker Carlson said, and their defense was, if you take anything Tucker Carlson says seriously, you're an idiot. And they won. But yet they keep him on the air. I don't get it.
Do you need a reason to turn on the vaccine? And what happens if you do turn it down? Will you be allowed to fly on airplanes? Or go to work?
But that being said, with the downward trend in people that are wanting this vaccine, I do wonder how long it'll be before you can't go into a government building, or you can't go on an airplane, or you can't do whatever without being vaccinated, because the government knows there's too many people against it for them to pass a law requiring it. But they can lean on independent businesses to require it, and that doesn't make it any more right.
If vaccines work, why are vaccinated people still banned from living normal lives? Honestly, what's the answer to that? So maybe it doesn't work and they're simply not telling you that. Well, you hate to think that, especially if you've gotten 2 shots. But what's the other potential explanation?
Okay, it is genuinely weird to see someone hosting a show on a supposed news network and ending every sentence with a question mark, especially when answers to most of those questions are out there for anyone who cares to know. So for instance, that last complaint that the CDC still recommends wearing masks indoors when around vulnerable, unvaccinated people does not mean the vaccine doesn't work. Clinical trials found that the vaccines are spectacularly successful at preventing people from getting serious disease. As for whether they protect you from spreading the virus, the trials weren't designed to assess that, but evidence so far indicates that they drastically reduce transmission.
The key word in all of that is evidence so far. Evidence so far. There's not enough of a data pool.
Larger numbers say that they didn't know whether particular myths were true or false. For instance, only 4% of people believe the COVID vaccine is more deadly than the disease, but 25% say they don't know.
I disagree with that. I believe at this point there's enough of a data pool to know the vaccine is not more deadly than the vaccine. Now, the long-term effects, perhaps not, but as far as being immediately deadly, that ship would have sailed. Anybody who believes Bill Gates put a microchip in your arm is a freaking idiot. There's no reason to spend billions of dollars to do that. You carry a cell phone around every moment of every day that tells them far more than any microchip ever could. Use your head. Most of these conspiracies are complete and utter bunk. My issue is with the government's ability to tell you what to do with your body. If you feel, after doing your research, the vaccine is what's right for you, by all means, get the vaccine. I don't think they designed it to hurt you. I don't think they designed it to spy on you. I think anybody that tries to spin that is either serving their own agenda or absolutely nuts. I do think it's really soon. I think it was rushed, and I think that they don't have enough data to know what some of the effects may be. And if that's a concern for you and you're at a low risk for COVID being, a fatal disease, then perhaps that's something you should take into account. And whatever you do, don't be like this.
Scrunch-faced fear baboon.
So that's all we got, guys. I cut the intro out. I'm going to cut the end out. It's already a really long video. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Drop us a like. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Go check out John Oliver. Hilariously funny guy. Really smart. His views and my views don't always line up, but it always does make for entertaining watching. So go check it out.